Welcome back to the Straw Hat Duo. My name's Charlie, and today we're going to be going over chapter 1046, titled Raizo. This chapter, I don't think the name is going to change much in the official release, seeing as it's just the name, Raizo. But we'll see. We start out with the cover page story being Germa 66's Cold-Blooded Voyage, Volume 9, and it is a picture of some shadowy figures appearing at Chocolate Town. It's titled A Pair of Intruders on Pudding's Turf, Chocolate Town. We'll see what that is. We'll see if that's got something to do with Niji and Yonji. Maybe it's world government. Let's get into the chapter, and it starts out with Luffy and Kaido. You know, not Raizo. We start out with Luffy going, what should I call that last move? Gomu Gomu no something. The narrator comes over. Kaido has a question. Kaido's laying on the ground. He's just like, just tell me one thing. Who the hell are you? Luffy kind of looks at him confused, like, huh? Then it cuts over to Zunisha. Zunisha is thinking to himself, how nostalgic, that rhythm. Joy Boy. Hey, Joy Boy. It's as if you were right there. How exhilarating. Okay, confirmed. Joy Boy is Senku, right? His whole little thing there. Exhilarating. Continues to think, this all feels like fate, but I can't help to think that we should put our faith in this boy. And then it cuts back over to, you know, Luffy, who I'm sure Zunisha was talking about. Luffy goes, who, me? I'm Monkey D. Luffy, the man who's gonna surpass you and become king of the pirates. Shows him just sitting there continuously bouncing on the ground that he turned into rubber. Kaido sits up, and you get a close-up of Luffy's face, just big old smile with the curled, thick eyebrows, kind of like Sanji's. His hair is all kind of malleable. Looks almost like goo. The next page, we get a double-page spread. This picture is Kaido smiling in his hybrid form. He's like, glad to see you've still got that big mouth, Straw Hat. We call this an awakening. Your mind and body are finally able to harness the full potential of your ability. And what a ridiculous power it is. That is kind of a surprising thing. I don't think we knew that about awakenings beforehand. We knew that it kind of awakened your power. Like, you had more ability over your power. You had more new powers. Brought new form to things. But Kaido specifically says here, it opened your mind more. That's kind of an interesting thought. So when Kid and Law awakened, they may have gotten more of a mental capacity of their devil fruit, not just, you know, I can do new things by trying it. And it continues on. Kaido's like, I've lost a lot in this war. My men, my castle, everything I've built here. But I suppose the same is true for you, huh? Luffy kind of gets angry at this. He says, I'm not through yet. I'm taking back everything you've stolen, no matter what. Kaido, you know, launches an attack at him, uses Gungor Meteor Shower, which is pretty much, I believe, the move that Kaido used to counter Luffy's Gatling gun. He connects all hits on Luffy. You see Luffy's leg, arm, stomach, head, all kind of get that spiky look from the last chapter when he got hit in the back of the head. Luffy says, damn it, and kind of recoils back and looks like he uses a Gatling gun. He does not say Gomu Gomu no Gatling gun, so it could be similar. I mean, honestly, that's what it looks like. He's upside down and kind of looking back. It's a way that we've never really seen it, because it looks like the arms are coming from behind him. It almost reminds me of when Katakuri used his move to fight back against Luffy's Gatling gun. But we see the punches connect with Kaido, and we get a DBZ moment at this point. Kaido's back is kind of bouncing out from the hits from Luffy, so that's kind of interesting. So then we go back and we get a close-up of Luffy, and he's kneeling down, coughing, going, huh? And then you notice why he's coughing. The fumes from the flames start to reach up to the roof. Kaido's sitting there panting, and he's like, for fumes to reach up here, the whole castle must have gone up in flames. That means thousands of your men are trapped in the inferno below. They're gonna roast to death. Luffy kind of looks up and smiles with an intense look, and he says, I've left everything that's happening down there to them. Then he winds up his legs and, you know, runs at Kaido like a cartoon character and says, I've got nothing to worry about other than sending you flying. And this surprises Kaido, and he goes, devastating gust, and launches, you know, a wind blade at Luffy, I guess. Luffy grabs his midsection and lifts it up, you know, stretching his legs up like a cartoon character, dodging it, going, whoa! And then it cuts over to the live floor, dome interior. People are freaking out. They're like, put it out. It's not just a castle. All the towers are going up too. Chopper jumps towards Nami and says, Nami, you're okay. What do we do? What do we do? The fire won't go out. Nami's like, Chopper, I can't find... And then Chopper's... I believe it's Chopper saying this. Saying, I can't find Zoro, Sanji, Franky, Usopp, Robin, Brook, or Jinbei. You know, like everybody else on the crew pretty much. Nami's like, seriously? But how can we reach them? Onigashima is basically a giant pyro now. Even here isn't safe. And you get kind of a zoomed out picture of Onigashima, the Skull Dome, and there's just flames coming off the back of it. It is engulfed in flames now. There's nowhere else to run unless we find a way to land. Chopper looks at Zeus and says, Zeus, what about your rain? And Zeus is like, the flame this big would just eat me up. Zeus can't do anything. He can't make it rain like that. And then we cut over to the basement castle interior. We see some random samurai, I believe, and they're like, it's no use. We're surrounded. There's no escape. Damn it all. Then we see Law's crew on the first floor, and Beppo's kind of got his X's over his eyes, his tongue hanging out. He goes, I'm not good with the heat. Then you see, you know, Law's crew carrying him, saying, you're being a real pain, Beppo. Ouch, it's hot. This might be it. I don't think we're gonna make it. Captain, save us. So they're, you know, they're freaking out. Towards the end of the chapter, you see Raizo. You know, yes, we're halfway through now, but, you know, I think next page after, we'll see Raizo, and we'll start to hear about his plan, which is actually kind of interesting. So then we cut over to the basement. We see some people run into Brook and Robin. And one of the people goes, my lord, how awful. You must have suffered a lot to end up like this. Brook responds, no, I'm not a burnt up corpse. You hear? And then Brook's like, we've got to find a way to get everyone outside. Robin, being her very cold self, says, there may not be one. I'm looking forward to seeing that animated because Robin is always in situations like this. She's always like, calm and collected, but very pessimistic. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that part specifically is animated. Like, you know, we're all gonna die, like on the way down to Fishman Island. I wonder if we all die down here, if the sea will turn red for a little bit, you know. I'm looking forward to that. Then we cut over to the Pleasure Hall Left Brain Tower. Sanji opens the door and he goes, no good, even if we get outside, the garden's gone. And we see Sanji, he's sitting there kind of freaking out because, you know, there's fire all around him. Sure, he could turn his leg into fire, but doesn't mean he could survive in it. Then we go over to the basement. We hear EBB. Scratch Man Apu says, it's just a mild burn, man up. Break the wall down already before both of us die. Who cares if it costs you an arm? EB gets all pissed off. Apu's like, there's no point in having a big body if you don't use it. EB gets pissed off. And Scratchman Apu goes, what are you gonna do? What, you want to go, bastard? And we go back over to another portion of the basement where we see Usopp. Funny thing, last night me and Shayna just watched the Water 7 episode where Luffy and Usopp fight. Actually, it landed on the cliffhanger just before the fight starts, and she hasn't seen this yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing what her reaction to the fight is. Cut back over to Usopp using Lethal Green Star Sprinkler, and as he uses that, you know, some water spouts out of the plant, and then the plant just engulfs itself in fire. He goes, what? And one of the smiles says, you're wasting your energy, sir. Usopp's like, shut up, I've got to do something. I made a promise to Izo. I'm gonna save Kin, Kiku, and myself too. He smiles like, don't forget about me. It's the giraffe smile. I don't remember his name. Then we cut over to the Right Brain Tower, and we finally get a small update on Zoro. It appears he is not dead. You know, surprise, surprise. But it's not looking good for him. And Frankie's like, this fire is getting out of hand. Which way am I even meant to go? I gotta find Chopper soon, or Zoro's not gonna make it. You know, implying that Zoro still has a pulse, but he's not doing great. Hopefully we get more of an update on him soon, but that's pretty much all we get on this. And then you see some people following Franky say, save us, big bro. We're gonna burn to death before that. Franky goes, keep whining like a bunch of weaklings, and I'll burn you myself. So then we come over to Raizo. Well, actually, Jinbei first, but, you know, Jinbei and Raizo are in the same place. The 4th floor castle interior. And Raizo says, it's ready, Jinbei Dono. I'm truly grateful that you agreed to put your faith in me. Jinbei's like, Luffy decided to ally with you, Samurai. How could I possibly doubt you? Now, let's go. And you get kind of a close-up on Raizo's face. He says, the feeling's mutual. I believe in you as well. And then he thinks to himself, Ever since that day, I swore I'd never be unprepared. And then you see Oden Castle burning in the background. And he thinks, Toki-sama, Momonosuke, Hiyori. Back then, and we get another double-page spread, back then I couldn't even protect my lord Oden-sama. Meanwhile, Momonosuke and the rest of his family almost burned in his castle. Despite my ninjutsu, I was unable to protect any of them. I can never make up for that failure, but I will never let myself be that helpless ever again. He puts his fingers together like he's going to be doing a jutsu, and you have a small flashback of him on Zou. Zou, Inuyarashi, what is that rain? It's Zunisha washing itself. What an insane amount of water. May I take some? Then you get back to present Raizo, as I will not allow the men who bravely joined our raid to die to a mere fire. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Prepare to be doused with the unbelievable supply of water. Ninpo, scroll jutsu, nin, elephant bath, restoration. Jinbei is kind of like shocked by this. There's so much water that just pours out, it fills the entire room. Jinbei's like, how immense, and then grabs it. Water heart, fishman jutsu, ocean current, shoulder throw, starts to toss the water around to get it throughout the castle. It starts to fill the castle halls like water would, honestly, but it's just like spreading fully out, dousing the entire castle. Jinbei says, go, flood every corner of the castle. Raizo's like, please don't be too late. May the water of Zou rescue our comrades. We go back down to the first floor, and you see Killer. He goes, let me down. Some of his crewmates are like, come on, this is the least you could let us do for you, Killer-san. And Killer laughs some more. And somebody says, ow, huh, what do we do? There's nowhere left to go. And then they say, huh? Why is everything quaking suddenly? And then the water just rushes down through. They're like, water? We're saved. And they get engulfed in water. And then we go back to a zoomed out picture of Onigashima. Yamato's like, hurry, Momonosuke-kun. What? Why? Kaido's still alive. He's at his limit. He won't be able to sustain the flame clouds for much longer. It's up to you now. You need to make clouds strong enough to hold Onigashima. This was always our only option. She's sitting there pulling Momonosuke's whiskers in his dragon form. His eyes are popping out. He's like, what? Just before that, in the panel before, we see a picture of Chopper upside down with flames all around him. And then we get the final page of the chapter, and the narrator says, Onigashima is about to fall. And on this page, we see Luffy, who his hands look bigger and his arms look longer than normal in this, and he's kind of jumping up above Kaido, and he's got a lightning bolt grabbed in his hand. I feel like Oda played Elden Ring, because if you've played Elden Ring, you know the dragons that use the lightning bolt as a sword? This looks almost exactly like that. And then we get a zoomed in picture of Luffy's face with a smile on his face, and then a zoomed in picture of Kaido smiling up at Luffy. And then the narrator's like, taking the future into their own hands. And that's the end of the chapter. However, unfortunately, next week there is a break. The week after that, One Piece will be back, but it appears the week after that will be another break. So looks like in the next month we're only going to get really one more chapter, which sucks, but Oda needs a break, so he's got to play some more of that Elden Ring. This is an interesting move. We've seen him somewhat harness electricity, but not this in depth. So at this point, we know he can manipulate fire to an extent and electricity to an extent. I'm wondering if he can harness more elements. I mean, in theory, he could. You know, he can fight with as much freedom as he wants. So this chapter was a lot of exposition, kind of getting things under wraps. Next chapter, I don't think we're going to get too much more on the fight with Kaido and Luffy. I think we're going to get more updates on everybody with the water flooding the castle. I want to see if they use that as any kind of a detriment to all the devil fruit users on the island, because that is possible. I mean, you know, being flooded in the castle, you know, the devil fruit users are powerless underwater. How fast will the water flood out? Will they be at any risk of, you know, falling off the island because of all the water? Will the water damage the foundation of the island? There's a lot that they could still do with this. So I'm curious on how Oda is going to handle that. And I want to say we'll probably get that update in the next chapter, the finishing of the fight in the chapter after that. So I'm thinking probably chapter 1048 will finish up the fight between Kaido and Luffy. Then we'll have kind of a, probably after that, that chapter will probably end with Luffy and Kaido's fight ending, and then the next chapter will start up with Momonosuke, you know, trying to create the clouds. I'm curious on how this arc is going to end. It seems like it's definitely wrapping up pretty quickly. It seems like it's going to be mostly a total success for the Straw Hats and company. We'll see. Let me know what you thought about this chapter. Let me know what you think of Luffy harnessing a lightning bolt as a weapon. We'll talk to you next time. See you in the next chapter review and next video that we go. See ya.